Welcome to the course Apparel Quality Management. The target audience for this course are students pursuing bachelor level diploma or degree in fashion or apparel specialization, or anyone who wants to know the subject. The course objectives are to make the students understand the concepts of quality management, its relevance in the global business scenario, and its central role in the apparel industry. To make students understand tools and techniques of apparel quality management in the industry. To equip students with conceptual understanding of apparel quality management, quality at initial stages, quality systems and approaches, and the document procedures followed worldwide in apparel business. Myself, Ms. Shipra Sharma, Associate Professor with National Institute of Fashion Technology, Kangra Center. I have more than 19 years of experience in industry as well as education. The course structure, the conceptual domain of this course is apparel quality management concepts and their significance in the fashion industry. The knowledge domain is systems and approaches of quality management applicable for the apparel industry. The skill domain is application of the quality management principles to the real life situations in solving quality issues. The learning outcome would be the students will be able to understand the importance of apparel quality management as a crucial function of apparel industry. Students will have the knowledge of the various quality management processes followed in apparel manufacturing firms for achieving quality at organizational functions and levels. Students will understand the documentation procedures required to implement apparel quality management concepts and systems across all departments of an apparel manufacturing organization. The first unit is Introduction to Apparel Quality Management. This unit will help students to understand various quality management concepts, approaches applicable worldwide, to understand various definitions, their importance, benefits and types, to understand quality as a timeless concept, to learn about specifications, standards and international standard making bodies. The second unit is on textile testing and product care. This will enable you to learn about objectives of testing and product evaluation, to learn about the significance and importance of care labels. The third unit comprises of inspection procedures and defects. This unit will help students to understand kinds of defects, defect classification, to understand the inspection procedures, processes and their application, to understand the documents used in the inspection of fabric and garments. The fourth unit, Quality Management Systems and Practices. In this, the students will find out the various statistical tools applicable in this industry and their usage. Be introduced to quality management concepts. Explore the concept of benchmarking. Be introduced to the concepts of costs of quality and management grids and explanation of quality in decentralized manufacturing. The fifth and the final unit is documentation in apparel quality management. This will help students examine quality procedures, describe quality checkpoints in the garment manufacturing process, review the inspection formats followed in the industry, and explain the quality audit report and the significance of quality manual. Let's begin with Unit 1, an introduction to quality. A brief introduction. In this unit, we will learn about the evolution of quality, the various quality terms and concepts. We will talk about the standards, the specifications. Under this unit, there are 6 modules. They are Module 1, the evolution of quality. Module 2, definitions, important terms and concepts. Module 3, concepts by quality management gurus. Module 4, Juran's Trilogy. Module 5, specifications. Module 6, standards. In this unit, students will explain quality as a timeless concept, review various definitions, their importance, benefits and types, review various quality management concepts, approaches applicable worldwide, describe specifications and standards. Under evolution of quality, we will talk about primitive societies. He did not have any systems or processes or tools to check the quality of the products. However, they used their own common sense to distinguish between quality products and non-quality products. Quality, a continuing revolution. In this, we will talk about the evolution of quality as a concept. Quality is a timeless concept. Students, when we talk about quality being timeless, we talk about there is no evidence or record and it's an ever evolving concept. We can start from our primitive societies where we had food gatherers, we had hunters. The food gatherers were supposed to find out the edible foods and distinguish them from non-edible foods. Have you ever imagined how would this had been possible until and unless they would have used their own common senses to do the same. The same goes with primitive hunters also. They had to make bows, arrows in order to hunt for their food. At this stage, all the products that were made were for self-use. That is, because there were no concept of villages, because there was no concept of people staying together, so whatever they were producing was for self-use. That goes to say that the design of a product, the production of a product, and the use of the product was done by the same persons. There was nothing called a buyer or a seller at this stage. Now, quality is a timeless concept that says that it doesn't have any end or beginning. It started as long as our ancestors or primitive food gatherers had to learn which fruits were edible and which were poisonous. As they have to eat only the right things, they started distinguishing between the fruits that are edible and which are poisonous with the help of their own senses. The hunters of primitive era had to learn which trees supplied the best wood for making bows or arrows. As they had to hunt for the animals, and they had to also hunt for the food and whatever products that could be made from the animal skin and bones. At that time, the families were isolated and they were forced to create self-sufficiency. There was no concept of villages or communities, and all the families, they had to survive on their own. That is why they need to become self-sufficient to sustain themselves. There was the concept of division of work, but that was there only amongst the family members. Division of work is a concept where all the members of a team or a family, they divide the work so that the responsibility and the burden can be shared. Production was there, but it was only for self-use. The primitive man used to produce tools, clothes and everything, but only for his or her own use. The products were designed, produced and used by the same people. That is something, nobody was making it for others, but they were using and making the things for their own use. Primitive state of technology was a hindrance for primitive men to achieve quality. As there was no level of technology at that time, and the man was relying on his own common senses, therefore the concept of quality had not emerged as a process or a system. With the concept of village, wherein people started living together for mutual defense and social needs. people started living together because of mutual defense and social needs, and there started the formation of villages. With the formation of villages started the concept of division of labor. That is, everybody started specializing in different skills. At this point of time, we had farmers, fishermen, artisans, hunters, and yes, there started the product feedback also. With the passage of time, the concept of villages started and there was a division of labor. The work was divided amongst the members of the villages. The villages were formed because there was a mutual defense and social need to remain together, to stay together. That is why there was the formation of villages had started. Routine work made the artisans intimately familiar with the materials used, the tools, the steps in the process, and the finished product. The cycle included selling the product to users and receiving their feedback on product performance. With the concept of villages and with the formation of villages, the product manufacturing started, and there was a cycle where the products were sold to the users and the feedback was received by the manufacturers. With the concept of villages and division of labor started village marketplace. What is a village marketplace? It was a common platform wherein there were buyers and sellers, and also the usage of product inspection and testing started. That is, the products were inspected and tested before buying from the customer's end, and the seller was also need to be sure that his products are inspected and tested. Now comes the effect of the growth of commerce. We had villages led to marketplace, and now these villages, they extended to cities and towns. How did it affect? The growth of cities and towns led to improved transport, and the products could be sold to different regions. There were chains of suppliers and producers. With this also came the concept of craftsmanship. Craftsmanship. The concept of craftsmanship started so that they can give a high level of product quality. There were many chains now for marketing of the products. With this came quality warranties. Quality warranties and written quality specifications. Quality specifications. So that the buyer and seller are sure of what they are buying and producing. Establishment of inspection and test specifications was maintained, and came the various measuring instruments. Till now, everything was manual. Now, the societies, the people, they started taking the help of instruments so that they can measure. This was possible because of the written specifications that had come into origin by now. There came the concept of artisans and guilds. There was an increase in the number of artisans that led to the formation of guilds. Now, what are guilds? They are identified as trade unions prior to industrial revolution. In every guild, there was supposed to be an apprentice, a journeyman, and a master. So there were three people which were supposed to be in every guild, which is identified as a trade union prior to the industrial revolution. The apprentice was the one who was bound to serve. The master used to teach the trade, and the journeyman used to travel to get the inspirations. Guilds had a lot to do with quality, guilds and quality planning. They were the ones who were responsible for the specifications of raw material, how are they going to manufacture the products, the finished products, and inspection of products. Guilds and quality control. They inspected and audited the goods so that whatever the products they are producing, they are as per the specifications. There arises the origin of mark. Every guild started having a different mark to distinguish themselves from rest of the guilds. Guilds and quality improvement. They believed in solidarity so that there is an equal opportunity amongst the members that can be maintained, and that's how they started improving the quality of their products as well. After the formation of guilds came the involvement of government. To manage the quality. This was to protect consumer health and safety. So the government involved itself to protect the consumer health and safety, export quality. This was another reason why the government involved itself into the in managing the quality. To protect consumer health and safety, to build export quality, there was an appointment of inspectors, and in order to improve the trade. So you can say right now that with the involvement of the government came the appointment of inspectors so that they can assure the quality in the products. Seals had started, and there was a competition amongst nations for achieving quality product. The milestone in quality came with the Industrial Revolution. With the Industrial Revolution, because now the concept of factory system started. The concept of factory system started. With the concept of factory system started mass production. Mass production is when you produce in bulk, when you produce in masses, and they are affordable products. Mass production started because now you could standardize the products. There were specifications which were given. There were written specifications. With the formation of villages, the next scenario started with the emergence of the village marketplace. As most of the villagers, they started staying together, most of the human beings started staying together, so the concept of marketplace started, wherein people could buy or sell the things of utility amongst each other. That goes to say, people started producing for and manufacturing for others too. To avoid quality disputes between seller and buyer, forced buyers to be vigilant so as to protect themselves against poor quality. With increased buying and selling, there was a vigilance towards what kind of products are being sold in the market. The seller was responsible for supplying the goods, but the buyer became responsible for supplying the quality assurance. Here originated the concept of quality assurance, that the buyer was responsible for his own goods and the seller was responsible for supplying the goods. Use of product inspection and test started happening at the buyer's end. With the passage of time, the products were inspected and tested at the buyer's end and before the usage of the final customer. Use of product inspection and test started happening at the buyer's end. For example, feeling fabric. The feel and texture of the fabric was determined through the senses of the human being. Smelling of fish, that again used the senses of the humans. Thumping melon or tasting a grape. So these are some examples wherein the buyers started testing the quality of the products with the help of the human senses. Now this arrangement was known as caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. That says, let the buyer beware of what he or she is selling. There came further the expansion of villages into towns and cities with the need of staying together at bigger places. There was an improved transport for the trade among regions. Producer and user could no longer meet face to face in the marketplace. This is because there were third party vendors who used to take the products from the manufacturer and reach it and make them reach to the user. Products were now made by chains of suppliers and processors. Common residence was there. Producer and buyer, being in the same village, were subject to discipline, scrutiny, and character evaluation by the villagers. Due to the presence of the customer and buyer at the same geographical location, so all these factors came into consideration. The status and livelihood of an artisan were closely tied to his reputation as a competent and honest artisan. The concept of craftsmanship became a quiet yet powerful stimulus to maintain a high level of quality. The concept over here means that people started getting into specialized products so that they can maintain a higher level of quality as compared to their competitors. Marketing was now done by a chain of marketers who used to sell and buy the products from the manufacturers to the customers. With the concept of villages and division of labor, started village marketplace. What is a village marketplace? It was a common platform wherein there were buyers and sellers, and also the usage of product inspection and testing started. That is, the products were inspected and tested before buying from the customer's end, and the seller was also need to be sure that his products are inspected and tested. Now comes the effect of the growth of commerce. We had villages led to marketplace, and now these villages, they extended to cities and towns. How did it affect? The growth of cities and towns led to improved transport, and the products could be sold to different regions. There were chains of suppliers and producers. With this also came the concept of craftsmanship. The concept of craftsmanship started so that they can give a high level of product quality. There were many chains now for marketing of the products. With this came quality warranties. And written quality specifications. So that the buyer and seller are sure of what they are buying and producing. Establishment of inspection and test specifications was maintained, and came the various measuring instruments. Till now, everything was manual. Now, the societies, the people, they started taking the help of instruments so that they can measure. This was possible because of the written specifications that had come into origin by now. There came the concept of artisans and guilds. There was an increase in the number of artisans that led to the formation of guilds. Now, what are guilds? They are identified as trade unions prior to Industrial Revolution. In every guild, there was supposed to be an apprentice, a journeyman, and a master. So there were three people which were supposed to be in every guild, which is identified as a trade union prior to the Industrial Revolution. The apprentice was the one who was bound to serve. The master used to teach the trade, and the journeyman used to travel to get the inspirations. Guilds had a lot to do with quality, guilds and quality planning. They were the ones who were responsible for the specifications of raw material, how are they going to manufacture the products, the finished products, and inspection of products. Guilds and quality control. They inspected and audited the goods so that whatever the products they are producing, they are as per the specifications. There arises the origin of mark. Every guild started having a different mark to distinguish themselves from rest of the guilds. Guilds and quality improvement. They believed in solidarity so that there is an equal opportunity amongst the members that can be maintained, and that's how they started improving the quality of their products as well. After the formation of guilds came the involvement of government. To manage the quality. This was to protect consumer health and safety. So the government involved itself to protect the consumer health and safety, export quality. This was another reason why the government involved itself into the in managing the quality. To protect consumer health and safety, to build export quality, there was an appointment of inspectors, and in order to improve the trade. So you can say right now that with the involvement of the government came the appointment of inspectors so that they can assure the quality in the products. Seals had started, and there was a competition amongst nations for achieving quality product. The milestone in quality came with the Industrial Revolution. With the Industrial Revolution, because now the concept of factory system started. The concept of factory system started. With the concept of factory system started mass production. Mass production is when you produce in bulk, when you produce in masses, and they are affordable products. Mass production started because now you could standardize the products. There were specifications which were given. There were written specifications. The next stage in the trade came after the effects of the growth of commerce, that says that with the upcoming of towns and cities, there was a growth of commerce. The expansion of the towns and cities led to a growth in commerce that further led to the establishment of inspection and test specifications to maintain standards. The stage had come wherein the people have to establish the specifications for inspecting the products and testing the products so that they can maintain their standards and they can constantly give a consistent quality to the customer. Specifications further led to the emergence of instruments that can measure. Till now, there was no development of instruments, but with the growing need of commerce and the growing need of quality into the materials and into the products, there came the need of instruments that can measure. There was an upcoming of artisans and guilds. We will talk about these two terms broadly. With the growth of villages into towns and cities, the numbers of artisans grew. The resulting competition became destructive and threatened the benefits derived from craftsmanship. Because there were number of villages now and then which had further expanded to towns and cities, the number of artisans also grew. This led to a competition amongst them that could be destructive and that could also spoil the benefits of craftsmanship. Apprentice was at this stage there was specialization of people into their respective crafts with the origin of terms like apprentice, journeyman and master. An apprentice was bound to serve a master for a specified period of years where he could learn the work from the master and execute it on its own. The master became responsible for teaching the trade to the apprentice. The journeyman's right to practice the trade was limited. He could become an employee of a master. He also could journey to other towns seeking employment in his trade. Only after admission to the rank of master could he set up shop on his own. The apprentice had to pass through examination by a committee of masters. He was required to produce a masterpiece inspected by the examination committee. Success in the examination led the status of journeyman. Guilds flourished for centuries until the Industrial Revolution. They used their monopolistic powers chiefly to provide a livelihood and security for their members. The guilds also provided extensive social services to their members. The inclusion of journeyman, apprentice, and master constituted one guild. With the expansion of villages into towns and cities, the different number of guilds formed into different cities and towns. Guilds maintained inspections and audits to ensure that artisans followed the quality specifications. They established means of traceability to identify the producer. Some applied their mark to finished products as added assurance to consumers that quality met guild standards. Now, this mark is nothing but what is known as brand of today. So, the guilds, in order to differentiate themselves from others, they started putting their marks on the finished products. Control by the guilds also extended to sales. The sale of poor quality goods was forbidden, and offenders suffered a range of punishments, all the way from fines to expulsion from membership. The guilds also established prices and terms of sale and enforced them. Guilds and quality improvement. Guilds believed in solidarity to maintain equality of opportunity among members. Internal competition, thus, was limited to honest competition. Quality improvement through products or process innovation was not considered to be honest competition. What it is talking about is that at this point of time, the members, they believed, the guild members, they believed in solidarity, and they gave equality of opportunity amongst their own members. Next came the government involvement in managing for quality. The quality reputation of a city could be an asset or a liability. Many cities took steps to protect their quality reputation by imposing quality controls on exported goods. They appointed inspectors to inspect finished products and affix a seal to certify as to quality. This concept was widely applied to high volume goods such as textiles. Continued growth of commerce then created competition among nations, including competition in quality. Guilds tended to stifle quality improvement, but governments favored improving the quality of domestic goods in order to reduce imports and increase exports. So, the factories could standardize their products, they could produce them in bulk at affordable prices. Now, with the affordable pricing of the products, under mass production, there were a lot of benefits because the division of labor was at its extreme during mass production. The division of labor, when we started in the beginning of the presentation, was started with the concept of villages. Now, with the factory system, it was at its extreme. When the factories started, there were required changes to control the quality of the products which are manufactured in masses now. So the factory system was accompanied by required changes in controlling the quality of products. The focus was here to make the products like the given sample at this stage. So the sample was one benchmark which everybody had to follow so that all other products can be replicated with the help of sample. Quality improvement under Industrial Revolution. There was continuous quality improvement because there was product improvement and process improvement at this stage. So it's not only product, but process was also being taken care of at this stage. There was an expansion of inspection. There were full-time inspectors, and the quality took the concept of quality departments. Now, with the rise of Japanese quality revolution, so there was a rise of inventors, entrepreneurs, research laboratories for product and process development. Many of the eminent people at this stage gave their principles to the world, one of them being Scientific Management Principles by F.W. Taylor. With the rise of industrial revolution, there was a rise of quality assurance. There was a rise of large industrial companies. There was an emergence of quality control systems. Consumerism movement also started. And there was international competition in quality. During the 20th century, there was an emergence of quality control system which was enforced by audits. Now, quality audits are inspecting and finding out whether the factories are making the right kind of products or not. So, with the Industrial Revolution, post-Industrial Revolution, the concept of quality took the form of quality assurance, which is still on an improvement spree till today. After this came the revolution that is known as the Industrial Revolution. With this originated many concepts and the entire system of craft culture changed to the factory system. Now we will talk about what is the factory system. Students, under the craft system, productivity had been low due to primitive technology, whereas costs had been high due to the high wages of skilled artisans. To reach their goals, the factories re-engineered the manufacturing processes. Under the factory system, the tasks within a craft were divided among several or many factory workers. Special tools were designed to simplify each task down to a short time cycle. With this, we understand that with the advent of the Industrial Revolution, the concept of factories started, wherein instead of making specialized products, the people started making customized products, and the concept of mass production started. When the concept of mass production started, it led to the need of constant production, which could be achieved only through standards and specifications, leading to consistent quality of all the products that were produced, which was not possible under the craft system. Quality control under the factory system. The factory system required associated changes in the system of quality control. The responsibility of workers was no longer to provide satisfaction to the buyer, also who is a customer and a user. Few factory workers had contact with buyers. Instead, the responsibility became one of make it like the sample or specification. That's what we talked about, that with the advent of factory system, there came the need of consistent quality of products that is only possible with the help of standards and specification, leading to the need of quality systems. Quality improvement and post-industrial revolution. The growth of commerce introduced chains of suppliers and merchants that separated consumers from the producers. This required new forms of quality assurance, one being quality warranties. The guilds created a form of quality assurance by establishing product and process standards and then auditing to ensure compliance by the artisans. The Industrial Revolution stimulated the rise of large industrial companies. Their early forms of quality assurance were mainly through inspection and test. In the 20th century, there emerged a new concept under which customers defined and mandated quality control systems. This concept was then enforced by audits both before and during the life of the supply contracts. Consumers welcomed the features offered by the new products but not the associated new quality problems. The new products were unfamiliar. Most consumers lacked expertise in technology. Their senses were unable to judge which of the competing products to buy, and the claims of competing companies often were contradictory. The oldest form of such competition was probably in military weaponry. This competition then intensified during the 20th century under the pressures of two world wars. It led to the development of new and terrible weapons of mass destruction. A further stimulus to competition came from the rise of multinational companies. Large companies had found that foreign trade barriers were obstacles to export of their products. To get around these barriers, many set up foreign subsidiaries that then became their basis for competing in foreign markets, including competition in quality. There came the rise of quality assurance. The rise of large industrial companies started because of Industrial Revolution. Under the Industrial Revolution, the quality control systems they started emerging. The consumerism movement started. People started consuming more and more products. International competition in quality also intensified because of lot of suppliers and lot of manufacturers. The competition in quality all across the globe also intensified. During the 20th century, emergence of quality control system happened that was enforced by audits. With this, we finish with the module 2 of unit 1, the evolution of quality. We studied this module to find out how the concept of quality systems, procedures, quality assurance started with from historical times. We talked about primitive societies and we talked about primitive food gatherers who were supposed to distinguish their food which they can eat. We also talked about primitive hunters who are supposed to learn about how they can make the best use of their bows and arrows to do the hunting as required by them. At this point of time, we saw that there were isolated families who had to do everything for their own self-use. At this stage, the technology was very primitive. Therefore, quality was dependent on the senses of the primitive people. With the passage of time, families they started living in villages and started dividing their works, leading to the concept of division of labor. This was needed because they need to defend each other, defend themselves, and also their social needs that led to the formation of villages. When the villages came into place, another concept that came was having a common marketplace for a specific village where people are producing and buying for others. The concept of quality assurance was at a very infant stage at that time. People started using their human senses to feel fabric, smell fish, and tasting the fruits so that they can get their products right. There was an expansion of villages into towns and cities. With this, there were the chains of suppliers and processes came into being, and the concept of craftsmanship came into being, wherein people were crafting specialized products in order to distinguish themselves from others. With the growing time, there was an establishment of inspection and test specifications so that a particular manufacturer can maintain standards. This also led to the emergence of instruments that could measure the specifications. The artisans, they started coming together and started forming the guilds. Each guild has an apprentice, journeyman, and a master. An apprentice was bound to serve the master. The journeyman could go to places and look for work, and the master was the one who used to head a guild. Guilds, they flourished for centuries till the Industrial Revolutions. These guilds started marking their finished product so that they can differentiate their products from other guilds. The control by the guilds also extended to sales, and guilds also led to the quality improvement, wherein they were giving an honest competition, and product and process innovation. Important definitions, terms and concepts that are used worldwide in apparel quality management. An introduction to quality. We will talk about various quality terms, concepts in this unit. We will start with the definitions of quality. The famous definition or the most common definition of quality with respect to ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization. The definition given by ISO is: quality is the totality of features and characteristics of a product or service that bear on its ability to satisfy given needs. The important words over here are features and characteristics of a product. So the features and characteristics of a product define what the quality of that product will be. Other definitions are given by famous quality management gurus, that is fitness for use. Fitness for use by Joseph M. Juran. Fitness for use talks about how fit is the product for the usage of the customer. The second definition is given by Crosby, Dr. Philip Crosby. Quality is free. That goes to say the quality products, they pay for themselves from the saving you have because of the quality improvement. The Webster definition is: Quality is a degree of excellence. Excellence. At what degree of excellence the product is, that defines the quality. Dr. Deming gave the definition as quality is predictability. Quality is predictability. And another definition by Dr. Crosby is conformance to requirements. Conformance to requirements. Whatever the requirements of the customer are, if any product conforms or non-conforms to this, that defines what the quality of a product is. Quality is a subjective term for which each person or sector has its own definition. Subjective. Subjective means it cannot be quantified. Quality word cannot be quantified. It depends upon whose requirement and whose requirement it is fulfilling and who is the person who is using. It can have two different meanings: the characteristics of a product or service, or any product or service that is free of deficiencies. Any product that doesn't have any kind of deficiencies, any kind of defects, and is perfect for the and is perfectly fit for the usage by the customer is quality. It's a combination of the characteristics and the properties of a fabric, and as we explained, one who can use it forever the customer who is using it, it depends upon the product's fitness for the customer's use is defined as quality. The first is the definition of quality. This is given by International Organization for Standardization, that is also known as ISO. The definition is quality is the totality of features and characteristics of a product or service that bears on its ability to satisfy given needs. The other popular definitions of quality are given by various quality management gurus across the world. The first one is by fitness for use. This is given by Joseph M. Juran. Now, fitness for use means that the product should suit the requirement of the user. Next definition is by eminent quality management guru Philip Crosby. The definition is quality is free. This goes to say that whether we are producing quality goods or we are producing non-quality goods, the production cost remains the same, therefore quality is free. The next definition is of Webster. Quality is a degree of excellence. Edwards Deming has given another definition of quality, that is quality is predictability. Philip Crosby has also given one more definition, that is conformance to requirements. This goes to say any product that conforms to the requirements of the user is a quality product. Now, quality is a subjective term for which each person or sector has its own definition. In technical usage, quality can have two meanings. The first one being the characteristics of a product or service that bear on its ability to satisfy stated or implied needs, and the second meaning being a product or service that is free from all kind of deficiencies. Quality is a combination of the characteristics or properties of a product which make that product usable. The extent to which a product successfully serves the purpose of the user during usage is called fitness for use, which we have already mentioned earlier. Fitness for use is the most widely concept of quality. It is determined by those features of a product that a user can recognize as beneficial. There are other definitions of quality also, which are from various perspectives. There are some standardized definitions which we just talked about. There are some other definitions also from different perspectives. One can be customer based. Customer based. A customer based definition we've already talked about: any product that is fit for use, that is meeting the customer expectations. The next definition can be, or we can define the quality with respect to manufacturing. With respect to manufacturing, any product that is conforming to the design, specifications or requirements and having no defects is a manufacturing based definition of quality. The third one can be product based. Any product that can offer something which is different from the other products and that has a better value added to it will be a product based definition of quality. The fourth one is value based. Whatever the product is, if it is the best combination of the price and features, the price is also affordable and the features are also good, that is the value based definition. The last one is transcendent. Transcendent is something not clear, but there is something which is good about that product, and that is another perspective of quality. There are certain other definitions that are popular for quality. They are based on the customer or the manufacturing. The first one being a customer based definition, that is fitness for use, meeting customer expectations. The second one is manufacturing based, that is conforming to design, specifications or requirements and having no defects. The product based definition says the product has something that other similar products do not, that adds value. The value based definition is the product is the best combination of price and features. There is a transcendent definition of quality, which is that it is not clear what it is, but it is something good. So anything which is good to use is a product quality. Now there are many dimensions to quality, so we will talk about them. So these dimensions to quality are also with respect to, the first one with respect to performance. The performance of a product. Which one is better, knits or wovens? Now depending upon the performance of the product in a particular situation, we will define quality. Let's say if we want a better drape, we need to have fluid fabrics, we need to have drapeable fabrics. So that is a quality product for a drapeable garment. For heavier weight fabrics, we need to have denims. We need to have heavier weight fabrics which are strong and they are more abrasion resistant. So in that case, we'll have heavier weight fabrics and they are the quality products for this particular usage. So their performance will be judged with respect to the end use. The next one is, another dimension of quality is features. Features. So many styles and design aspects, especially for fashion products, can be categorized as features. So the impact of features is affected by individual preferences. So these are mainly what? Features are the what? The styles and design aspects of a product. Next dimension is reliability. Reliability. It describes the likelihood that product will fail within a given time period. It is more important with more durable goods and less important with non-durable goods. How reliable is the product? How long can be its life? Next dimension is conformance. Conformance. Conformance is the degree to which a product's design and function matches the given standards and specifications. Conformance to requirements, conformance to specifications, and conformance to standards. Another dimension is durability. Durability. How long a product will be suitable for its end use. It has got both economic and technical dimensions. The longer we can use a product, it is a quality product. The you can say technical structure of the product is good, so it's a durable product. The next dimension is serviceability. Serviceability. Product repair. If the product is serviceable, it is repairable, so it's a good quality product. So it includes the factors such as dimensional stability, color fastness, soil release, and wrinkling. So these are the dimensions. The two more dimensions still, aesthetics. Aesthetics. This is again a very subjective term, so it reflects individual preferences. Any product that is appearing good is an aesthetic product. Any product that is not appearing good is not a quality product. The last one is perceived quality. Perceived quality. Customers, they don't have any, normally they don't have any information or the point of purchase about the quality of the product, but they have certain perception about the quality. So that is the another dimension of quality. So just now we talked about the few dimensions of quality. Next we are going to talk about, there are 8 dimensions of quality, which are performance, how a product performs in the longer run, the features of a product that can be mentioned as a quality product, reliability, how reliable that product is for a longer usage, conformance, how much conformance that product has with respect to the requirements of the customer, durability, how durable that product is, serviceability, how much serviceability that product can provide to the particular customer, aesthetics, what are the aesthetics of a product, and perceived quality, what is the customer perception of quality. We will learn about all these factors one by one. The first dimension being performance. Performance combines product and user-based approaches and focuses on measurable product attributes. We have an example here. Which one is better, woven or knit fabrics? Now in this case, it depends upon the user and the final usage of the product that we can categorize as a better product out of woven or knit fabrics. Heavier fabrics tend to be stronger and more abrasion resistant, but are also stiffer and less fluid in drape. This is another example wherein we can demarcate the performance of the product with respect to its usage. If we want a drapable fabric, then we need to go for lighter weight fabrics, but if we want a strong and abrasion resistant fabric, then we need to go for heavier fabrics like denim. The second dimension is features. Many style and design aspects, especially for fashion products, would be categorized as features. The impact of features on quality is affected by individual preferences. That says that the customer preference and the final end usage of the product matters the most in deciding the features. The third dimension is reliability. Describes the likelihood that product will fail within a given time period. Reliability is more important with durable goods and less important with non-durable goods. Next is conformance, the degree to which a product's design and function matches standards and specification. The standards of a product that are needed and the specifications is that if the product conforms to that will be another dimension of quality. Another fifth dimension is durability. How long a product will be suitable for its end user. Durability has both economic and technical dimensions. Economic dimensions are the ones which are related to the finances and the, let's say, the pricing of the product, and technical dimensions are the ones which are related to the standards and specifications of the product. Next one is serviceability. It is related to product repair. This perspective of serviceability integrates the cleaning process with product performance during cleaning. It includes factors such as dimensional stability, color fastness, soil release, and wrinkling. It includes factors such as dimensional stability, that goes to say how stable the product is dimensionally while the usage of the product. The color fastness, how fast are the colors when we use them with respect to color fastness to perspiration and etc. Soil release and wrinkling. The aesthetics tends to be more subjective than any other measure of quality. It reflects individual preferences. What kind of aesthetics anybody prefers is individual and cannot be standardized here. Perceived quality. The customer rarely possesses complete information about a product or point of purchase. Benefits of quality. Now we are talking about quality, but we need to understand what are the various benefits associated with this. The first and the major one, wherein all the organizations, all the firms, they try to have quality initiatives, we have quality systems, procedures, approaches, so is to have greater market share. So we try to have quality initiatives so that we can have greater market share. Greater market shares we can have by selling our products more and more in the market. When we sell our products more in the market, we have financial benefits and we can acquire market share, major market share for our products. Another benefit of quality is higher growth rate. Higher growth rate. The organizations who have quality initiatives, quality systems and processes in place, they have higher growth rate. So, higher earnings. Higher earnings. Because of our good products, because of our quality products, we can sell more, so we can have our earnings higher for our products. Premium price. Premium price. We can charge a premium on our prices if we are producing better and if we are offering better quality goods than our competitors. Next is loyal customers. By selling good products in the market, by selling quality products in the market, we can win our customers who will come back to us again and again so that they can buy and use our products. This is nothing but customer loyalty. So we can maintain loyal customers by having quality at our place. The last but not the least is highly motivated employees. Because of the positive impact of quality initiatives and approaches in our organization, our employees will get motivated and they are motivated for further work. Higher or better quality products can also be used as a product differentiation strategy. Very important, product differentiation strategy. We can differentiate our products only by having continuous quality initiatives and building quality into our products. Now it is very wisely said that easiest way to make money is to stop losing it through poor quality and customers never return. So we can have a product, we can have our product differentiated when we have an approach to quality in our organization. The major benefits are greater market share. When we talk about greater market share, we talk about the companies who prefer making quality goods. They have better market shares, their products sell better in the market, and they earn more with respect to their competitors, having competitive advantage through quality. The second one is higher growth rate. The organizations who make and produce quality goods, they have higher growth rate as compared to their competitors. The organizations who manufacture quality goods, they have higher earnings also because they can earn more in the market. Such kind of organizations, they can also ask for premium price, that is they can ask for a better price from the consumers when they build quality into their products. They have loyal customers. Customers, they come again and again to buy the goods of that specific company who follow quality principles. Last one being highly motivated employees. The employees being highly motivated because there is an overall growth of the organization, as well as the employees also when they build in quality into their products. So that is why students, apparel quality management is a very broad area and a great area to study with. Higher or better product quality can also be used as a product differentiation strategy in the marketplace. We can differentiate our products from our competitors if we can build better product quality and if we can give better product quality in the market and to the customer. The easiest way to make money is to stop losing it through poor quality and customers never return. When you manufacture goods who are of poor quality, the customers may buy at the first step but will not be buying it again and again. There will be no customer loyalty, so apparel quality management is an important area to study. Now we will talk about the factors that influence consumers' perception of quality. How do consumer perceive that this is a quality product? The first consumer perception is price. Normally the consumers, they associate themselves with higher price. They associate the quality of the products with higher price. The higher the price, the better is the product. Second one is technology. Now there are factors such as fabric strength, color fastness, shrinkage. These are the properties that get affected by the kind of technology in an industry. So if a fabric has fabric strength, the color fastness is good, color fastness is improved, shrinkage is as per the norms. So we are having a better product with respect to technology, and the consumer perception is that it is a quality product. Time orientation. Time orientation. This includes durability of the product. The more durable the product is, the longer the lifespan of the product is, the better is the quality. Next is psychology. Psychology. Many times it happens the garment is not attractive in appearance and it is not fashionable. So that goes to say that it is not meeting the aesthetic requirement of the customer, and hence the customer perceives it as not a good quality product. Next perception through which a customer sees quality is contractual. What do we mean by contractual? It refers to product guarantee or the refund policy of a store. If the product is guaranteed, we can return if we are not satisfied with it, and we can have a refund also, then it is a quality product. Another one is ethical. The consumer perceives the quality on the ethical factor, that is advertisements. If a product is not satisfying what is shown in the advertisement, the consumer will perceive it as a non or poor quality product. It also refers to the courtesy of salesperson and also the honesty of advertising. So students, these were the factors that influence the customer perception of quality. Now there are various factors that influence the consumer's perception of quality. There are certain factors. These factors are the first one being price, how high or low the price of a product is, technology, what kind of technology has been associated with the quality, psychology of the customer is very important, time orientation, so what is the orientation of time, contractual and ethical. Let's go through these factors one by one. The price is consumers associate quality with higher price. That goes to say higher the price, the consumers think that the products are of higher quality. Technology, factors such as fabric strength, color fastness, shrinkage and other properties that are affected by the state of technology in the industry. So, and the third one being time orientation. This includes durability, how durable the product is, whether it is going to be used in the short term or it is going to be used in the long run. The another factor being psychology. If the garment is not attractive in appearance and not fashionable, or if it does not meet the aesthetic requirement of customer, then it is not a quality garment. So this is also one of the factors that influence the consumer perception of quality, that aesthetics become a very important factor in defining a garment as a quality garment. Contractual, this refers to a product guarantee, the refund policy of a store, and so on. Whether the organization is giving any kind of product guarantee or product warranty, or there is a refund policy in case of defaulted goods or in case of faulty goods, consumer perception of quality is also changes accordingly. Ethical, this refers to honesty of advertising, courtesy of sales personnel, and so on. Many times the consumers buy the products when they see the advertisements, but when they actually use the products, they are not satisfied with it. So the perception of the consumer changes that very moment, that the product is not a quality product because it is not as per the advertisement, and or it is not as per what the salesperson has said. So ethical factor is again a very important factor wherein the customer perception of quality changes. There are two very important approaches to quality which we are just going to study now. So these two approaches to quality are quality assurance and quality control. These two approaches are used independently and in different contexts by different people. We'll talk about the definitions and we'll try to define the concepts a little bit more. The quality assurance is all those planned or systematic actions necessary to provide adequate confidence that a product or service will satisfy given requirements for quality. In quality control, the operational techniques and the activities used to fulfill requirements of quality. Now, quality assurance is doing the right things at the very first time and building the quality in a product and taking necessary and sequential actions and steps that can give us final quality product. Quality control is more of techniques and activities which are there to check the product quality at different stages. The companies that approach quality from a different perspective tend to do a better job of manufacturing products to a desired level of quality on a consistent basis. We will start with the recap of the whatever we have studied. Module 1, we started with the definitions, important terms and concepts that are used in apparel quality management worldwide. We talked about the definition of quality given by International Organization for Standardization, that is ISO. This definition is the most popular definition across the world about quality. We also talked about the definitions given by various eminent people in the field of quality management all across the world, and we defined these these terms one by one. So we talked about the meaning of the definition fitness for use for the quality and the relevance of this term. Fitness for use, as I said, is the most widely used concept of quality. We also talked about the customer-based definitions of quality. Basically, we talked about the various definitions of quality from other perspectives, like from the perspective of customer, a manufacturing-based definition we talked about. We talked about product-based definition, value-based, and a transcendent definition of quality. We talked about the 8 dimensions of quality, that are performance, features, reliability, conformance, durability, serviceability, aesthetics, and perceived quality. We talked about these dimensions one by one, and we explained these dimensions in full. We talked about the 6 benefits of quality, although this is not a complete list, but we can always add more benefits to quality. We talked about greater market share, higher growth rate, higher earnings, premium price, loyal customers, and highly motivated employees. We talked about the factors that influence the consumer's perception of quality, and we talked about these factors as price, technology, psychology, time orientation, contractual, and ethical. We talked about these factors one by one. We also talked about the 2 most important approaches to quality, that is quality assurance and quality control. We talked that quality assurance is a systematic actions that are taken to achieve quality, and quality control are the operational techniques and activities that are built in the system. Now, quality assurance and quality control are the major concepts of quality, and there are taking the module forward, we will also talk about the quality gurus. Quality gurus are the people who have given internationally acclaimed and accepted concepts and approaches of quality that are applicable worldwide. A quality guru should have a concept and approach to quality within business that has made a major and lasting impact. The quality gurus have done and continue to do that, in some cases even after their death. So these are the people whose principles and approaches are accepted all over the globe. There are mainly 3 eras wherein we can define or we can study the quality gurus from these eras. The early 1950s, these were Americans who took the messages of quality to Japan. Some of the quality management gurus who were Americans and did this work of taking the quality to Japan can be named as Deming and Juran. In the late 1950s, there were Japanese who developed new concepts in response to the Americans. These were the people like Ishikawa and Taguchi. In 1970s to 1980s, there were Western gurus who followed the Japanese industrial success. These were people like Crosby and Tom Peters. Although most of them are not there with us in today's time, but their concepts and approaches are still accepted in all the service and manufacturing organizations. This is another presentation wherein we are going to talk about quality gurus. Who are quality gurus? That we have already talked about in our previous slides. These are internationally acclaimed, worldwide famous people whose concepts, philosophies, approaches are appreciated and implemented all across the globe. The first guru what we talk about is Philip B. Crosby. Philip B. Crosby he had given 14 steps to quality improvement. The first one being long-term commitment by the management towards quality. Very important, long-term commitment. Without the commitment of top management, it is very difficult to implement or take any kind of quality initiative. He also talked about cross-departmental quality teams. The teams which can belong to different departments for the sake of quality. Identify current and potential problems wherever they exist. So problems that are hindering the functioning of the organizations that need to be identified. Cost of quality. He also talked about cost of quality in his 14 steps to quality improvement. Mr. Philip B. Crosby is a renowned philosopher whose concepts of cost of quality will be talking about later in our module. Increase the quality awareness. The quality awareness can be increased by trainings, workshops, by encouraging people and making them aware about the quality in the organization. He also talked about taking immediate actions to correct the problems that are identified. He focused on zero defects program. Zero defects is another important concept wherein we do not talk about minimization of defects, rather we talk about elimination of defects so that we can improve the quality on a regular basis. He also emphasized on training the supervisors. He He also emphasized on training the supervisors so that they can carry out the required responsibilities. He emphasized on having a zero defects day. Zero defects day to increase the awareness amongst the employees so that the quality process can be taken care of. He also established that individuals and teams to be established. Dr. Crosby focused on the establishment of individuals and teams. Next is the 11th point or the 11th step to quality improvement by Dr. Crosby is to encourage employees to talk about any kind of hindrances or barriers to meet the quality goals, to recognize the employees who participate, employee engagement, or involvement was emphasized by Dr. Crosby. One of the steps talk about implementation of quality councils. Quality councils to promote continuous communication. Then he talked about repeating everything so that to illustrate quality improvement is a never-ending process. So, Dr. Crosby illustrated that quality improvement is a never-ending process. Never ending, it is always growing, the organizations are always growing with the growth of the quality, with the growth of the quality initiatives taken by the organization. Let us now review some concepts by famous quality gurus. The first one being Philip B. Crosby. He contributed a lot towards quality management practices and theories of management and initiated zero defects program. Now, a zero defect is a program wherein we try to achieve defects as less as possible with our systems and processes. Philip B. Crosby had given 14 steps for the quality improvement. The first one being make it clear that management has a long-term commitment to quality. So from this he is trying to say that the top management commitment is very necessary to have quality in our products. The second one is form cross-departmental quality teams. The teams need to be from all the departments and they need to work in different departments so that they can understand the process of quality in a manufacturing organization. Identify where current and potential problems exist. Philip Crosby says that we need to find out wherein the problems they exist, assess the cost of quality and explain how it is used as a management tool. He is talked about to assess the cost of quality, the cost of quality associated with the conforming goods and the non-conforming goods. That goes to say the conforming goods are the ones which are as per the standards and specifications given by the organization, and non-conforming goods are the ones which are not as per the quality specifications provided by the company. Increase the quality awareness and personal commitment of all employees. The quality awareness can be increased by having awareness programs, workshops, training programs all across the organization, and the personal commitment can be increased by having employee engagement and employee involvement in the day-to-day functioning of the employees. Take immediate action to correct problems identified. As soon as we identify the problems, we need to take an immediate actions so that we can correct the problems. Establish a zero defects program. The organization should try to establish a zero defects program wherein they should try to minimize the defects to as less as possible. Train supervisors to carry out their responsibilities in the quality program. Respective trainings and the appropriate training should be given to the supervisors so that they can take out or they can do their responsibilities in the quality program. Hold a zero defects day to ensure all employees are aware there is a new direction. There should be an awareness program and there should be a specific zero defects day so that the employees are aware of what is happening in the organization. Encourage individuals and teams to establish both personal and team improvement goals. The organization should try to encourage the individuals as well as the team so that they can be individual goals that can be aligned with the organizational goals of achieving quality in the firm. Encourage employees to tell management about obstacles they face in trying to meet quality goals. The management should be very supportive in case the employees are trying to tell the hindrances or the barriers to achieve the quality in the products. Recognize employees who participate. The employees need recognition for their increased participation. Therefore, there can be rewards or awards or some kind of benefits which should be given to these employees so that their services and their initiation towards quality improvements are recognized all across. Implement quality councils to promote continual communication. There should be quality councils so that they can promote continual communication about quality, any kind of barriers, hindrances or improvements that can be communicated. The 14th point of Philip Crosby is repeat everything to illustrate that quality improvement is a never ending process. We need to repeat that quality is always a never ending process and we need to always strive hard to improve the quality of the products or the services in our organization. The second quality management guru is W. Edwards Deming. W. Edward Deming was an American management consultant. He is best known for his work in Japan post World War II. All of us, we know that during World War II, Japan had faced a lot, and how after World War II, Japan came out as a very strong economy by following the quality principles.
Now W. Edward Deming gave 14 points again. The first one being create constancy of purpose for improvement of product and service. That goes to say that the purpose should be constant for the improvement of products and services. Adopt the new philosophy. The employees as well as the organization should try to adopt the new philosophy that is there. Cease dependence on mass inspection. Mass inspection is the one wherein we are inspecting the goods in masses, in bulk. So that kind of dependence should be decreased so that we can increase the inspection of goods to the minimal, so that our systems and processes are strong enough to minimize the inspection. And the practice of awarding business on the basis of price tag alone. What he is trying to say is only the price tag should not matter in a business. We should also try to improve our systems and processes so that we are giving the right kind of goods to the customer. Improve constantly and forever the system of production and service. There is always an opportunity to constantly improve the system of production and service. Therefore, the organizations should always constantly try to increase and improve their appropriate productions and services. Institute training. Training should be there as a major part of any organization, major activity of any organization, because through training there's new learning and development that occurs in employees, which is a must for a growing organization and to remain competitive in the long run. Adopt and institute leadership. The organization should try to adopt and institute the leadership, drive out fear, all kind of fears, they should not be given any kind of importance, and the employees and the organization should come forward to build quality into their processes and systems. Break down barriers between staff areas. So there should not be any barriers between staff areas. Eliminate slogans, exhortations and targets for the workforce. Any kind of slogans, exhortations and targets for the workforce should be eliminated. Eliminate numerical quotas for the workforce. Remove barriers that rob people of pride of workmanship. There should not be any barriers that can take the people out, the pride of their work. Encourage education and self-improvement for everyone. So education should be encouraged and there should be self-improvement for everyone in the organization. Take action to accomplish the transformation. There should be sufficient actions there should be taken to accomplish the transformation of the employees as well as the organization.
The next quality management guru we are going to talk about is William Edwards Deming. He has many concepts and approaches with respect to quality which are famous across the world. Mr. Edwards Deming was an American management consultant and he was responsible for his work in Japan post World War II. Mr. Deming gave 14 points, the first point being constancy of purpose. Constancy of purpose. The purpose need to be constant so that we can improve for product as well as service. So we should adopt the new philosophy and we need to stop our dependence on mass inspection. Mass inspection. Mass inspection is bulk inspection. We need to stop our dependence on mass inspection. So Mr. Deming focused that we need not consider only the price tag, rather we need to take care of the product and the processes as well. Next is his fifth point towards quality, talks about improving constantly, and then he focused on the need of training again. Employee training is very necessary in order for any organization to keep pace with what is happening around the world. So he also focused on trainings. Then he talked about leadership, that we have to adopt and institute leadership, and we have to eliminate fear and break down barriers. The next point of Dr. Deming is we need to eliminate all kind of slogans and targets for the workforce. That is, the workforce should be made responsible for and awakened for what they are doing, rather than focusing on slogans and targets. He also talked about the elimination of numerical quotas for the workforce. He talked about removing barriers and encourage education and self-improvement, and to take the required actions to accomplish this whole transformation towards quality.
The third principles, quality management principles that are famous worldwide, are given by Joseph M. Juran. Mr. Joseph M. Juran had given 10 steps to quality improvement. These are: build awareness of both the need for improvement and opportunities for improvement. There should be improvement, need and opportunities for the improvement in any organization. Set goals for improvement. The organization should have objectives and they should set goals, long term and short term, for the improvement. Organization to meet the goals that have been set. The organization, once they set the goals, they also should try to meet those goals. Provide training. Mr. Juran has again emphasized on the importance of training and said that the employees should be provided necessary trainings. Implement projects aimed at solving problems. The organization should implement these projects so that they can solve the problems which are there in the day-to-day working of the organization. There should be a method and there should be a system to report the progress that is happening in the organization. The employees, they should be given necessary recognition in terms of rewards or awards or financially or any kind of recognition that should recognize their services in the long run. The results of the improvement should be communicated to all. The score should be kept. Whatever the improvements they are there, the score should be kept. Maintain momentum by building improvement into the company's regular system. The organization should always maintain this momentum of quality improvement so that it should be there, highlighted in the regular systems of the company.
Other important quality management gurus. Dr. Walter Schwartz. The important contributions of Dr. Schwartz are development of PDCA cycle, that is plan, do, check, act, also known as plan, do, study, act. Theories of process control. Schwartz transformation process. Dr. Schwartz reported that bringing a process into a state of statistical control where there is only chance cause variation and keeping it in control was needed to reduce waste and improve quality. Schwartz is referred as the father of statistical quality control. Dr. Schwartz's principle was that bringing a process into a state of statistical control would allow the distinction between assignable and chance cause variations. By keeping the process in control, it would be possible to predict future output and to economically manage processes. This was the birth of the modern scientific study of process control. Armand V. Feigenbaum. Important contributions are developed the idea of total quality control based on quality leadership, modern quality technology, organizational commitment to quality. He established the principles of total quality management, the approach to quality and profitability that has profoundly influenced management strategy and productivity in the competition for world markets. He said, total quality control is an effective system for integrating the quality development, quality maintenance and quality improvement efforts of the various groups in an organization so as to enable production and service at the most economical levels which allow full customer satisfaction. Dr. Kaoru Ishikawa. His contributions are Ishikawa diagram, also known as the fishbone or cause-effect diagram. He popularized the 7 basic tools of quality and the philosophy of total quality. Perhaps Ishikawa's most important contribution has been his key role in the development of a specifically Japanese quality strategy. The hallmark of the Japanese approach is broad involvement in quality, not only top to bottom within the organization, but also start to finish in the product life cycle. Dr. Genichi Taguchi. His contributions are: he developed the Taguchi methodology of robust design. His methodology focused on the lesser sensitivity of the design with respect to any variation in the manufacturing process instead of controlling manufacturing variation. His idea of designing in quality is an important component of Six Sigma. Dr. Shigeo Shingo. Important contributions are: he developed lean concepts such as single minute exchange of die SMED or reduced setup times instead of increased batch sizes. He also introduced the concept of Pokayoke, that is mistake proofing, to eliminate opportunities that are obvious for mistakes. Mr. Shigeo Shingo refined the concept of just-in-time manufacturing to an integrated manufacturing strategy used to define lean manufacturing in Toyota production system. Dr. Goldratt. His contributions are: theory of constraints that focused on a single element in a process that can have the greatest impact on improvement, that is 1% can have an impact of 99%. Theory of constraints analyzes cause and effect, verify the assumptions that are underlying, and explores the alternatives. The steps that can be involved are identification of problems, devising of solutions, and constructing the action plans. Taiichi Ohno. The contributions are developing the way organizations identify waste with his 7 ways model, which has become core in many academic approaches. These ways are delay, waiting or time spent in a queue with no value being added, using more than you need, overprocessing or undertaking non-value added activity. Transportation, unnecessary movement or motion. Inventory, reduction of defects. Various manufacturing improvements were done by him that got involved in the Toyota production system. Juran's Quality Trilogy. To attain quality, it is well to begin by establishing the vision for the organization along with policies and goals. Conversion of goals into results is then done through managerial processes. Sequences of activities that produce the intended results. Product features that meet customer needs. Freedom from deficiencies. Higher quality enables companies to increase customer satisfaction, make products sellable, meet competition, increase market share, provide sales income, secure premium prices. Higher quality enables companies to reduce error rates, reduce rework, waste, reduce field failures, warranty charges, reduce customer dissatisfaction, reduce inspection, test, shorten time to put new products on the market, increase yields, capacity, improve delivery performance. The major effect is on sales. Major effect is on costs. Usually, higher quality costs more. Usually, higher quality costs less. These are the meanings of quality. Juran's quality trilogy talk about three processes. These processes are quality planning, quality control, quality improvement. Quality planning, quality control, quality improvement. Establish quality goals. Evaluate actual performance. Prove the need. Identify who the customers are. Compare actual performance with quality goals. Establish the infrastructure. Determine the needs of the customers. Act on the difference. Identify the improvement projects. Develop product features that respond to customers' needs. Establish project teams. Develop processes that are able to produce the product features. Provide the teams with resources, training, and motivation to diagnose the causes, stimulate remedies. Establish process controls. Transfer the plans to the operating forces. Establish controls to hold the gains. The Juran Trilogy diagram. The three processes of the Juran Trilogy are interrelated. The given figure shows this interrelationship. The Juran Trilogy diagram is a graph with time on the horizontal axis and cost of poor quality on the vertical axis. As we said, the initial activity is quality planning. The planners determine who the customers are and what their needs are. The planners then develop product and process designs to respond to those needs. Finally, the planners turn the plans over to the operating forces. As operations proceed, the process is unable to produce 100% good work. The given figure shows that over 20% of the work must be redone due to quality deficiencies. This waste is chronic. It goes on and on. Under conventional responsibility patterns, the operating forces are unable to get rid of this planned chronic waste. What they can do is to carry out quality control to prevent things from getting worse. The given figure also shows a sudden sporadic spike that has raised the defect level to over 40%. This spike resulted from some unplanned event such as a power failure, process breakdown, or human error. As a part of their job of quality control, the operating forces converge on the scene and take action to restore the status quo. This is often called corrective action, troubleshooting, putting out the fire, and so on. The end result is to restore the error level back to the planned chronic level of about 20%. The chart also shows that in due course the chronic waste was driven down to a level far below the original level. This gain came from the third process in the trilogy, quality improvement. In effect, it was seen that the chronic waste was an opportunity for improvement and steps were taken to make that improvement. The trilogy diagram relates to product deficiencies. The vertical scale therefore exhibits units of measure such as cost of poor quality, error rate, percent defective, service call rate, and so on. On the same scale, perfection is at 0. When the trilogy diagram is applied to product features, the vertical scale changes. Now the scale may exhibit units of measure such as millions of instructions per second, mean time between failures, percent on time deliveries, and so on.
Specifications. Under this module, we will talk about specifications. What are the specifications? How many types of specifications are there and what is their usage? Now, the specifications are a set of requirements to be satisfied by a material, process, or system or service. The specifications, they describe the requirements of the customer. They list specific terms and numerical values with measurement units. They are more specific than standards but reflect standards. They are acceptable limits for materials in terms of dimensional change, color change, staining and wrinkling, and for products in terms of appearance of seams and collars.
Specifications, they have acceptable limits for materials in terms of dimensional change, color change, staining, and in terms of manufacturing like seams and collars. There are two very important terms to understand here. One is minimum, another one is tolerances. Minimum. Let's say any fabric can withstand 350 cycles abrasion value. That goes to say that minimum it can withstand 350 cycles abrasion value. Next is tolerances. The minimum is the least or the lowest acceptable value. Next is tolerances. Tolerances define a range. Tolerances define a range of acceptable values and they give allowable deviations. Allowable deviations. That is, if the chest of a shirt is 40 inches, the tolerances can be plus minus 1 inch. That means the shirt is acceptable with a chest measurement of 39 and 41 inch. So tolerances give us the allowable deviations. Allowable deviations that are acceptable from a specified value.
There are two important elements with respect to specifications. The first one being minimum, that is least or lowest acceptable value. For example, 350 cycles abrasion value. That is, a product needs to have 350 cycles abrasion value in order to qualify the product to be used for a specific purpose. The tolerances, they describe the range of acceptable values, describe allowable deviations from specified values. An example of tolerances is plus minus 1 inch in a chest measurement of garment clothing. That goes to say, if the chest measurement of the garment is allowed at 40 inches, we can accept it till 39 inches and also till 41 inches. So the tolerance for this is the allowable deviation from the specified value of 40 inches.
Next, we are going to talk about the benefits of specifications. Benefits of specification. So the specifications need to be appropriate to target market. What is the market, or which one is the market we are targeting? So are we talking about, let's say, in terms of income criteria, are we talking about low income market, we are talking about middle income market, or we are talking about the high income customers as a target market? Next is the specifications. They give a description of the products in a very detailed manner. So if we want, as we said, we gave an example of the shirt, size M, let's say red color, and full sleeve shirt, cotton shirt. So specifications, they describe the products in details. Specifications are also used to negotiate the bids and contracts. So let's say if we want to buy a half sleeve shirt rather than a full sleeve shirt, so the pricing of a full sleeve shirt will come up as compared to a half sleeve shirt. So the specifications, they can be used to negotiate the bids and contracts. Specifications can also be used to purchase the materials. If we want a red colored shirt, we need to have red buttons and red fabric. So they can be used to purchase materials. They describe the nature of characteristics of the material, the desired quality level, and expected performance. Specifications also are used to communicate the product requirement. So what is the requirement of the product that can be conveyed, communicated through specifications. They are also used to advertise product lines and services. If we have specified written specifications for a particular product, we can advertise on that basis.
There are various benefits of specifications. We will start one by one. The specifications, they need to be appropriate to target the market. First of all, we need to understand what kind of market we are catering to. The product is catering to what kind of market, and the specifications need to be appropriate for that particular market. Describe the product in very detailed terms. The specifications need to describe the product in all the terms as it possible. For example, if we talk about a table has a length, width and height apart from the top and apart from the thickness of the wood and the sketch and design for that particular table. So the specifications, they describe the product in very detailed terms. The specifications are used to negotiate bids and contracts, that is, lowering the specifications or expanding the specifications will affect the price of that particular goods. So the specifications are very, very important to negotiate the bids and contracts. They are used to purchase materials. We can go and in the market with our specifications and we can purchase the materials according to our specification. Let's say if we want to buy a refrigerator, we can always say that what kind of refrigerator we want what color of refrigerator we want, what kind of height we want, how many liter capacity do we want, and so on. Describe the nature of characteristics of the material, its desired quality level and expected performance. Specifications are also used to communicate product requirement. This is again, if I want some product, I can communicate the specifications I need, the color, size, fit, everything, and then I can buy the requirement of the okay, cut this down please. So the specifications are used to communicate the product requirement. The specifications are also used to advertise product lines and services. So we can, on the basis of specifications, we can advertise the product lines as well as services.
Under type of specifications, the major ones are open and closed. Let's talk about what are the open specifications. Open specifications, we can consider multiple vendors. We can include a description of the character. We can talk about the performance that is desired in the product or material that needs to be purchased. We can describe exactly what is wanted We can have general or very specific information here, and we can work with multiple sourcing agents who work with open specifications. The example can be 100% polyester, 2 denier, delustered, crimpled and 1.25 inches in length yarn is needed. So these kind of specifications are open for any kind of sourcing agents. With respect to the closed specifications, wherein we are specifying a particular name. Now the closed specifications, they specify the exact material or component, and they are used for production purposes, pricing and for items that must incorporate specific materials. And the closed specifications, we have an example like style numbers, trade names, for example Decron polyester with type number. Here only the Decron DuPont can serve as a vendor because Decron is produced by DuPont. So this is a closed specification. Other types of specifications being target specifications, wherein we take care of product type, price points and target markets. So what kind of product we are manufacturing, what is the price point we have to follow, what is going to be the pricing, and what is the target market that we are catering to. The functional specifications they relate to performance requirements and they recognize consumer expectations. You have to meet several laws and regulations to incorporate these functional specifications. Next are product specifications. So they take care of all the elements that are related to production and the aspects related to quality. We have material specifications, wherein we identify the characteristics of each material with functions or performance aspects. The focus here is on assessing the materials and not the entire product. We have process specifications. The process specifications in garment manufacturing can be pattern making, spreading, cutting, sewing, finishing. So we need to consider these processes and build specifications for each and every process that goes into manufacturing an apparel. Next are inspection specifications, wherein we have in-process inspection. In-process is something wherein the products are getting manufactured, they are in the process of getting manufactured. So final inspection is the one wherein the products are finally manufactured and then they are getting inspected. The last one being acceptance inspection. So how much is acceptable? How many defects are acceptable? So that will come under acceptance inspection. Next are test specifications. So test specifications can be incorporated with functional and material specifications. So they will take into consider the process of the product before, during or after production. Next we have acceptance specifications. Wherein we consider the frequency, type and location of defects. The addresses aspects relate to appearance, performance, labeling and packaging. We have installation specifications also. We have installation specifications also, and this is basically for the installation of home furnishings and industrial products. Let's say the examples being carpet padding, hanging of draperies and wall coverings. Then we have use specifications, wherein we offer included industrial products. It may or may not be for the apparel industry. So they generally relate to the use specifications, generally relate to safety and health issues. The maintenance specifications, they relate to furnishings and industrial products. The examples can be carpets, upholstery. They often include maintenance specifications. We have disposal specifications, wherein we consider the packaging material, that is we talk about the cartons or the carpets made by 100% recyclable materials. We have procurement specifications also, which is a growing area for textiles. The example can be catalog retailers, wherein we see the product in a catalog and order according to the specifications given in the catalog. There are two types of specifications, open and closed. The open specifications, they allow consideration of multiple vendors. Let's say we have to buy something which we have to buy a chair with a black color, with a wooden material, with the so and so height, so we can buy it from multiple vendors. Includes a description of the character. So the open specification, they include the description of the character. They describe the performance desired in the product or material to be purchased. They describe what is wanted. They can include general information or very specific information. That is, the sourcing agents, they work with open specifications. Let's say 100% polyester, 2 denier, delustered, crimpled and 1.25 inches in length. These are the kind of specifications that we require for a specific yarn to be used. There are more types of specification. These are known as target. Target specifications, functional, product, material, process specifications, inspection specifications, test specifications, acceptance specifications, installation specifications, use specifications, maintenance specifications, disposal specifications, procurement specifications. We will go through all these specifications one by one. First, we have target specifications. They relate to understanding the company in terms of product type, price point, and target market needs and expectations. The functional specifications relate to performance requirements, recognize customer expectations. Several law and regulations incorporate
functional specifications that must be met. The product specifications, they are elements related to production and aspects related to quality. The material specifications, identification of the characteristics of each material with functions or performance aspects. Focus is on assessing the materials, not on assessing the entire product. The process specifications, all processes including pattern making, spreading, cutting, sewing and finishing. The inspection specifications will have in-process inspections, that is while the product is getting manufactured, final inspection, that is when the product is already manufactured, and acceptance inspection. The test specifications may be incorporated with functional and materials specifications. Procedures to follow in evaluating the process or the product before, during or after production. Acceptance specifications, frequency, type and location of defects. Addresses, aspects related to appearances, performances, labeling and packaging. Then we have installation specifications, installation of home furnishings and industrial products. The example being type of carpet padding, hanging of draperies and wall coverings. Use specifications, they are often included industrial products, may not be for apparel industry. Instructions for using textile products generally relate to safety and health issues. Maintenance specification relate to furnishings and industrial products. The examples being carpets, upholstery often include maintenance. Disposal specifications, packaging materials used with textile products. For example, carpets made of 100% recyclable materials. Procurement specifications, growing area for textiles, that is catalog retailers. Catalog retailers are the one who put all their products in a catalog and then they try to sell their products. We'll have a recap of module 3, which was on specifications. We talked about what are specifications. We talked about the definition of specifications as a set of requirements to be satisfied by a material, process or system or service. We talked about the various the role of specifications in describing the requirements. We talked about that they are the acceptable limits for materials in terms of change, color, etc. We also talked about the two important elements with respect to specifications. We talked about what are minimums, which are the least or lowest acceptable values, and we talked about tolerances, which talk about the range of acceptable values. We also studied the benefits of specifications in targeting the market, in describing the product, in negotiating the bids and contracts, and in order to purchase materials and so on. We talked about the two types of specifications, that are open and closed specifications. The open specifications, we can go for multiple vendors and it include a description of the character. We can have multiple vendors and we can have multiple options when we talk about open specifications. The closed specifications are the ones which are procured, which are supposed to be procured from a particular manufacturer. The example we gave over here is Dacron polyester with type number, wherein the Dacron is manufactured only by DuPont. So the vendor restriction is seen here, and such they are known as closed specifications. The further type of specifications, they include target specifications. There are mainly 13 more types of specifications which are used. They are target specifications, which relate to understanding the end company. We talked about functional specifications that relate to performance requirements. We talked about product specification, the elements related to production. We talked about material specifications, where the focus is on assessing the materials, not on assessing the entire product. We talked about process specification that include all the processes including pattern making, spreading and cutting. We talked about inspection specifications which are done at the various stages of manufacturing. We talked about test specification that may be incorporated with functional and material specifications. We talked about acceptance specifications, that is frequency, type and location of defects. We talked about types of specifications. Under that, we further talked about installation specifications, that is installation of home furnishings and industrial products. We talked about use specification that often include industrial products. We talked about maintenance specifications relating to furnishings and industrial products, disposal specifications related to packaging materials used with textile products, and we talked about procurement specifications, that is the growing area for textiles.
The next module, what we are going to talk about is about standards. Now to start with, what are standards and why do we need them? Basically, these are used to incorporate the desired quality into the products that are produced as per the requirements of the customer. Now, standards, they are a set of characteristics or procedures that provide a basis for the production decisions taken. So, how do we need to produce a product depends upon the kind of standards we follow. Standardization. Now, the standards, they go through the process of standardization, which is again a process of developing and applying rules in a uniform approach so as to have a specific activity for the benefit and with the cooperation of all the concerned people. What is the significance of standards? We will learn about the significance of standards. Now, standards is an aid for communication and trade. Students, all of you know that the trades, they happen globally. The communication, there has to be a single form of communication that should follow all the customers from, let's say, different parts of the world. Now, this language of communicating the same language is given a format known as standards. So, standards, they help in communication and trade across the world. Standards there also help in defining the weights and measures. Weights and measures. The weight remains the same for the customers all across the countries. That is why we need to have a standardized unit for this, and that's how we develop standards. They are used to set forth practices and expectations on the field. What do we expect from the manufacturer on the field will be governed by what standards do we want. They describe the product characteristics in a very concise manner, in a concise and consistent manner. Standards also describe minimum level of performance. Minimum level of performance and a minimum level of safety. So the standards, they describe performance and safety of a product with respect to their minimum levels. And standards, they also facilitate commercial communication. When we talk about commercial communication, we talk about the communication that is needed, in the trade, that is needed in all across the business parties, let's say buyer as well as seller. Standards, they enhance production efficiency because we have already done the standardization of parts, process or products that enables economies of scale. Economies of scale, so we can say that the standards help in economies of scale by cutting down the costs when we produce in bulk or when we produce in masses. They also allow increased competitions. Standards, they are used to protect health and environment quality, and they also promote safety. Let's say the flammability standards. The flammability standards, a garment should have certain flammability standards for selected products so that it can be sold in the export market. How do we develop standards? Now, developing standards is a developing of standards include many groups, and they include producers, suppliers, manufacturers, government agencies and consumers. So the standards are developed with the cooperation of all these. A consensus of opinion. The opinions are taken from all the parties and a consensus is reached for a particular procedure, application, analysis, and then the standards are developed. These standards are examined, evaluated, and revised many times so that they become acceptable to all groups. There are periodic reviews, timely reviews. They are always modified and they are always revised so as to reflect the given changes in approaches, the procedures related to the standards and documents, instrumentations, and the standards are also continuously modified and improvised with respect to the customer expectations. We will talk about the types of standards. Now, standards, they are of various types broadly. So, the first kind of standards we are going to talk about are company standards. Company standards, as the name suggests, they are with respect to a particular organization. So, there is a consensus among employees for the products and services that are offered by the company. Now, these standards are used in the company throughout at all the processing stages, for example, product development, production, purchasing, and quality assurance. They describe general characteristics or features of a product with a required performance level. Standards also include fabric characteristics, the materials which are used in the product, the fit of the product, and the various production methods that are used or that are involved in the making of a product. Next comes industry standards. We talked about company standards. Next comes the industry standards. Now, industry standards are with respect to a single industry. As we are talking about apparels, so we will talk about apparel industry standards. So, all the consensus is taken over here from many companies or the individual members. Industry standards are very common in the textile industry because the product performance matters a lot in textile industry. Next are voluntary standards. Voluntary standards are something which the individuals or companies, they have to determine on their own that whether they want to adopt that standard. There is no force or there is no mandatory requirement of adopting those standards. Now, these voluntary standards, they are incorporated into laws, regulations, or contracts. Next are mandatory standards. Mandatory standards are mandatory for the companies to follow because they need to be adopted through laws or regulations. Most of the health and safety issues, they are into laws and they are there as mandatory standards. Then we'll talk about international standards. International standards are the one in which majority of the products or services to the same standard, conform to the same standard regardless of where the product was produced or the service was performed. In this case, there are agreements between companies, organizations and governments. So these are irrespective of where the products are manufactured or produced. Now the goal of international standards is so that we can increase the product quality and reliability at a very affordable price. Now these standards also improve the health, safety and environmental hazards. They help in reducing the hazards and they produce greater compatibility of goods and services. They simplify and improve the products and their usability and increase the distribution efficiency. The purpose of standards and specifications is to incorporate the desired quality into the products that are produced based on these documents and requirements. Standards are a set of characteristics or procedures that provide a basis for resource and production decisions. Standardization is the process of developing and applying rules for a consistent and uniform approach to a specific activity for the benefit and with the cooperation of all concerned. In simple words, standards are the ones which define a product, and standardization is a process where we try to get consistent product quality with the use of standards and specifications. Now, what is the significance of standards? Standards, they aid communication and trade. Standards help in communicating and they help in expanding the trades at an international and national level. They are used in defining weights and measures. So when we talk about standards, when we talk about weights and measures, we need to define them through standards. Standards are used to set forth practices and expectations on the field. Whatever is required from the field is based on the standards of that particular practice. They are used to describe characteristics of a product in a precise and consistent fashion. So standards, they define the product characteristics in a consistent manner, describe a minimum level of performance and a minimum level of safety. The standards, they describe the kind of performance that can be expected and the safety that can be achieved with respect to a product. The standards, they facilitate commercial communication. It becomes very easy to trade when we have standards across the buyer and seller. Enable enhanced production efficiency by standardization of parts,
processes, and products as it enables economies of scale in production. Now, economies of scale over here mean when we talk about mass production, when we talk about consistent and constant quality amongst products on a higher level, or when we are manufacturing in masses, so we bring down the costs of producing those products. Standards, they allow for enhanced competition. They are used to protect health and environmental quality and promote safety. We'll talk about how our standards develop and what are the roles that are played by different groups to develop the standards. Standards are developed with the cooperation of various interest groups such as producers, suppliers, manufacturers, government agencies, and consumers. Consensus of opinion among the interested parties about procedure, application, analysis, and related factors. Standards are examined, evaluated, and revised many times before they are acceptable to all groups. Periodic review, modifications, and revisions reflect changes in approaches, related procedures or documents, instrumentation, and customer expectations. Let's move on to learn about the different types of standards. We have company standards, industry standards, voluntary standards, mandatory standards, and international standards. When we talk about company standards reflect a consensus among employees for products or services provided. They are used throughout the company in product development, production, purchasing, and quality assurance. They often describe general characteristics or features of a product or service, or they describe a required level of performance. They often include fabric characteristics, materials used in the product, fit of the product, and production methods used to make the product. The industry standards reflect consensus among many companies in an industry or among individual members of a profession. Industry standards are not common in the textile industry in terms of product performance. Standards are much more common in terms of materials, for example, jersey. Voluntary standards allow individuals or companies to determine on their own whether to adopt a standard. No organization or group forces adoption of these standards. Voluntary standards may become incorporated into laws, regulations, or contracts. There are mandatory standards also, wherein the adoption is required generally by a law or regulation. Most mandatory standards relate to safety or health issues. International standards describe a situation in which a majority of the products or services conform to the same standard regardless of where a product was produced or a service was performed. This situation impels that an agreement has been reached by various companies, organizations, and governments involved. The goal of international standardization is to enhance product quality and reliability at a reasonable price, improve health and safety and environmental production, reduce hazards, produce greater compatibility of goods and services, simplify and improve product and service usability, and increase distribution efficiency.
We will talk about many international standard developing bodies who develop these standards and the export market. We'll talk about the international standards and the various international standard making bodies who develop these standards and which are followed by the manufacturing countries. Now, some of these international standard making bodies are, the first one being AATCC. AATCC. The full form of this stands for American Association of Textile Colors and Chemists. AATCC, that is American Association of Textile Chemists and Colorists. This body, it provides test method developments, quality control materials and professional networking for thousands of members present in 60 countries all across the world. The next standard making body is ASTM International. ASTM International, that stands for American Society for Testing and Materials International. They have an expertise of over 30,000 members so that they can create consensus and improve the performance in the manufacturing of materials, products and processes, systems and services. The next body is ANSI, American National Standards Institute. Now, this body promotes voluntary consensus standards and conformity assessment systems and promotes their integrity. The next body is ASQ, American Society for Quality. The global community who use the tools, ideas and expertise for overall quality improvement follow the standards set by American Society for Quality. Another institute is British Standards Institute. British Standards Institute, known as BSI. This body also develops standards and it is a multinational business service provider where their principal work is to develop and produce standards for this and improve through quality. Now, one of the famous standards developed by BSI are ISO 9000. So ISO 9000 ISO 9000 are quality management standards. They provide the guidance and tools for companies who want to consistently meet customers' requirements and have consistent improvement in quality. The standards in this ISO 9000 are ISO 9001 2015. These are the latest standards and revised by ISO 9000. Any organization can be certified only to ISO 9001 2015. Then we have ISO 9000 2015, then ISO 9004 2009, and then ISO 19011 to 2011. Now ISO sets out the criteria for quality management system, and this is the only one. ISO 9001 2015 is the only one from the family that can be certified to. Any organization can use it, large or small, irrespective of the field of activity. There are over 1 million companies and organizations across 170 countries that are certified to ISO 9001. Now these standards are based on certain quality management principles that include customer focus, motivation, top management implication, process approach, and continual improvement.
There are various international standard making bodies that make international standards for the industries to follow. Majority of the products or services conform to the same standard regardless of where a product was produced or a service was performed. Some of the international standards making bodies are American Association of Textile and Colorists, that is also known as AATCC, American Society for Testing and Materials International, also known as ASTM International, American National Standards Institute, that is ANSI, American Society for Quality, that is ASQ, and British Standards Institute, that is BSI. American Association of Textile and Colorists, that is AATCC, provide test method development, quality control materials, and professional networking for thousands of members in 60 countries throughout the world. American Society for Testing and Materials International harnesses the expertise of over 30,000 members to create consensus and improve performance in manufacturing and materials, products and processes, systems and services. Promotes and facilitates voluntary consensus standards and conformity assessment systems and promotes their integrity. American National Standards Institute, NSI, that promotes and facilitates voluntary consensus standards and conformity assessment systems and promotes their integrity. American Society for Quality, global community of people passionate about quality who use the tools, their ideas and expertise to make world work better. The next one is British Standards Institute, multinational business service providers whose principal activity is the production of standards and the supply of standards related services. The next one being ISO 9000, that is a quality management guidelines. The standards provide guidance and tools for companies and organizations who want to ensure that their products and services consistently meet customers' requirements and that quality is consistently improved. Standards in the ISO 9000 family include ISO 9001 2015, ISO 9000 2015, ISO 9004 2009, ISO 19011 2011. It may be noted that the ISO 9001 2015 are the latest guidelines for implementing ISO 9000 in your organization. ISO 9001 2015 sets out the criteria for a quality management system and is the only standard in the family that can be certified too. It can be used by any organization, large or small, regardless of its field of activity. There are over 1 million companies and organizations in over 170 countries that are certified to ISO 9001. This standard is based on a number of quality management principles, including a strong customer focus, the motivation and implication of top management, the process approach, and continual improvement.